Avatar: Way of Water was a lot better than I thought it'd be. I went into this movie with what I feel are pretty reasonable expectations. I thought the story was going to be pretty average, with the visuals being the highlight, and after watching Way of Water, I was sort of right about that. Let me explain. I kinda do and don't get why the first Avatar movie is the highest grossing movie of all time. I just always kinda thought it was pretty overrated. The visuals of that movie are fantastic and still look fantastic to this day, but I always felt the story was pretty weak. It had that whole protect the environment message, and I was like, I mean, yeah, no shit. I don't know. The plot just feels like a Darman video if he actually paid the actors. That's the shittiest way I can describe it, but I feel like it's on brand for this channel. But I didn't feel that way at all with Way of Water. The story's a lot more layered this time, though it still has the same basic message when you look at it from face value. However, it does have a better job at hiding it with all that shit that happens in this movie. And a lot of shit happens in this movie, and I was kind of into it. There's a lot of setups in this movie, and I'm a fucking slut for setups for future stories, and I thought they did a pretty good job at getting me interested in the future of the franchise, though at times I thought how they went about it was not the best, especially towards the end. For the most part, it's fine. I like the story a lot better in Way of Water. There are times where the movie feels really fucking predictable, not with a whole lot of things, but some important ones. That doesn't take away from the story though. I don't think it's as good as people online say it is, but it's still pretty decent. They're not leaning super heavily into nature as the first one, though there are a lot of elements in this movie that one could argue that point. I felt this one was more about a movie about family. This whole movie is all about the dynamics of family, and you could see that with Jake Sully's family, as they are the front and center of this entire movie. At times, Jake Sully's character didn't even feel like he was the fucking main character at all, because it kept jumping back and forth from different members of his family, and I kinda dig that. I was honestly kind of impressed how they managed to do all of that, primarily because Jake and Neytiri seem to have gotten busy since the last movie, fucking like they're goddamn rabbits, because these motherfuckers have like 5 fucking kids. Technically like 3 or 4, but I stand by my point. I would do the same if I was married to Neytiri, and don't fucking at me for that. I know everybody watching this video feels the fucking same way. Don't ever fucking lie to yourself. Avatar helped you discover new things about yourself like a fucking Anyway, Jake and Neytiri have like 30 fucking kids, and that had me a little worried about following a bunch of blue aliens that all look fairly similar, but to my surprise, it was actually really easy. Barely an inconvenience. Every one of those kids is unique in their own way, and every time they were on screen, it was super easy to tell them apart. Most of the time, just purely based on their personality, and I just told myself,
hats off to you for not seeing race.
one of my biggest draws to Way of Water was the visuals, and I'm happy to say that the visuals in this movie were absolutely amazing. This is a beautiful movie to look at. A giant portion of this movie is set in or around water, so it's fucking insane to me that they just managed to pull off CG characters in CG water and just made it all look hyper realistic. I never really thought we would get to a point again where we would make a huge breakthrough in visual effects, but if there's any movie that wants to make that argument, it's this movie. If this doesn't get the Oscar for best visual effects and possibly best production design, I'm actually gonna be really fucking upset. This movie is also pretty lengthy as well, coming in at a girthy 3 hours and 12 minutes. And I know a lot of people who really don't like long movies, and I get that, but this is a movie I think people should watch. It doesn't really feel like a 3-hour movie. It feels more like 2 hours, and that's just due to its pacing. The pacing is pretty good, not amazing, but pretty good. And I'm honestly happier that this movie is so long because it has a lot of things it needs to introduce to us, and I feel like if it were any shorter, say again like 2 hours, it wouldn't have enough time to show us everything it wanted to show us. It sets up a new location, a new culture of people that includes a whole lot of new characters in that culture that are pretty important to the plot and seem like they're going to be way more important in future movies. It introduces Jake and Neytiri's kids, and they have have a lot. They introduce us to a new antagonist, new creatures, and many more themes and ideas that cannot be properly introduced in a movie with half the length that this one has. And I'm all for that. I really like long movies, and I wish a lot more movies would be longer. And I know that's an unpopular opinion, but that's just the type of person that I am. When they announced the sequel to Avatar, I really didn't think it was gonna be all that good. I knew it was gonna make an assload of money, but I was a little concerned with what they could do with a sequel. But I'm really happy with what they came out with, and I thought that James Cameron was off his fucking meds when they not only announced that there was gonna be a third one, but a fourth one, and a fifth Avatar movie. But now looking back, I'm looking forward to those. He built a world that's pretty interesting, and if they come out as good as Way of Water did, I'd just be fine with that. Avatar Way of Water exceeded my expectations. It's not a fucking masterpiece, especially with its kind of mid-story, but really exceeds itself with fantastic visuals and a world and characters that I look forward to seeing in the next couple of movies. Go watch Way of Water if you haven't already. And I feel like a lot of you have already seen this movie, considering that at the time of recording this movie is already the fucking third highest grossing movie of all time. Which is weird when you think about how Way of Water is a PG-13 movie that has Kate Winslet surrounded by water and we kinda don't see her breast, but Titanic, the previous third highest grossing movie of all time, is a PG-13 movie with Kate Winslet surrounded by water and we really do see her breast. And I'm not saying that one movie is better than the other. All I'm saying is that James Cameron might have a type, and that's the thought I'm gonna leave you with.